Hey everybody, Danny Watt here. Thanks for joining us. This week we're going to focus on the subject of power, specifically generating more club head speed at the moment of impact so you can generate more distance in your irons and your woods. Now we're also going to discuss some of the biggest pitfalls I see with many of my clients when they're trying to generate more power. Now obviously we want power, but you want to maintain accuracy. We're going to talk about how you maintain the accuracy but generate decent distance on all of your shots. Now before we do, if you're new to the channel and this is one of your first videos, consider subscribing. I release content like this every single week to try and help you improve your game. So let's get started. What do we do first of all to generate speed? Well, the very first thing we need to know is first of all, we need to get into a position where we can swing to that maintains that accuracy. Now, I released a video last week, which I'll put in this top left-hand corner here, where I like to call it my reverse engineering move. I want to get someone into a decent follow-through position, the destination point, because that will help them have somewhere to flow to, and it helps with accuracy. I'm going to go through, summarize what I did last week for you today, and then I'm going to show you how we then add a lot of speed and distance to that movement. So let me show you. So what we did was this. I believe that the easiest way to swing a golf club is you can get wrapped up in all the mechanics of come down here, do this, etc. But you know what? If you focus on a destination point out there, your body will work out it's the best way to get to that position. It's like if I was going to throw a ball to you right now, my arm's going to come back here and it's going to come through here. It's not likely to come round there or round there. Why? Because you're over there, right? So my arm's going to come straight back and straight through. So if we create a good destination point, you also potentially create a much better quality backswing as well. So it does kill two birds with one stone. So we're going to go through briefly, because the more details of this are in the top left hand corner, and I really want to focus on speed today. Go briefly through how we do this. So the very first thing we do is you take the club in your lead hand. This is my left hand, and what we do is you get yourself set, and you see my logo on my glove here. I'm going to rotate my forearm here back to face behind me. The toe of the club's facing the sky, and now what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to reach out and stretch. Now some of the feedback I got, and I've seen people do this, is when you reach out, some people do this. They reach over. This would lead to an over-the-top move. This is for you slicers, watch out for this. What we do from here is we reach underneath. Very, very important. So we reach underneath. This gives us our destination point, toe pointing to sky. That's all we're going to focus on. Then what we do is you kind of practice flowing, first of all, into that position. So you're trying to repeat that process. Again, more detail of that is in the video up above, right? So once you've got that destination point, we think, okay, great. People are saying, look, I'm getting lovely strike with this, I'm getting a lovely accuracy, but how do we generate some speed and how do you scale it upwards? That's what we're going to focus on today. So once we've done that, what we do is very, very straightforward. 2 or 3 elements we need to know. So what I want you to do here is this. I want you to practice, when you get yourself set up, I want you to practice hinging the wrists here, so you've got a nice good bit of flex. I want you to then practice releasing those wrists. And what you do is you practice hinge and release. Cock the wrists, uncock the wrists. This is really, really important. Too many people here are either not cocking the wrists at all, or what they're doing is they're hanging on to dear life and they're trying to hit the ball with their body. What we want to do, and I want you to do here, is this. I want you to get used to the feeling of this. Cocking the wrists here, and then watch this. Uncock them and release. Now notice here, my body is staying level with the golf ball. It's not going through, which will bring me on to my next point in a second. So let's start off with this one. So I'm going to hit a shot, and all I'm going to do here is this. I'm going to practice cocking my wrists and then uncocking them and trying to finish in that position there. Okay, let's have a look at this. So cock, uncock. So I'm exploding. Okay, now you'll notice, and what I'll do in a second, I'll put a little slow-mo of that video, of that swing on now for you, and what you'll notice is this. You won't see me when I'm coming through doing this. I'm not rotating my entire body. A lot of people are trying to complete their follow through a lot of the time. They're trying to finish in this lovely through motion here. But one thing that happens in a golf swing is this. When you get to about here, your left side starts to brace for impact. It doesn't keep, everything doesn't just keep rotating through. There becomes a point here when something resists, the left side resists, and then the club fires. I almost want you to imagine, if anything, there's almost like a wall here. What we don't do is go through that wall, which I see a lot of people who are maybe skying their tee shots or hitting very low drivers or slicing their balls. What we want to do is when we cock the wrist here and then we fire, we want to fire against a good solid left side or lead side. Let's have a look at that again. So I'm getting myself set, cocking my wrists, firing through to this position. I'm not firing this way. I'm staying against a nice firm lead side. So cock, uncock. And look at this motion here. Yes, momentum has taken me through to a position that's a lot higher. And that's how you eventually complete momentum. Because I fired that so well, let the club really go there. Momentum took me through. Now, this can be a little bit scary for some of you. And it certainly was for a couple of clients that came down from Spain this week. One of the things that is strange initially is it can feel a little bit out of control. So when you let this club release, yeah, it feels like, wow, will it go straight? You know, it feels like I've lost a bit, lost a bit of control. But what you're getting is basically almost this catapult, okay? Now I put a video out with a driver where actually I called it the catapult method, where basically the club here almost does this. It gets there at some stage, something has to stop for the club to fire. So when you get here, there has to be some form of resistance for the club to fire. If there wasn't, it would look like this. Where's the power? There isn't. All this is then a drag around. You're pushing through the wall. You're not against this firm left side. You're simply just pushing against that wall. We need to get a swing that at some stage has to fire. Now, you combine that with this reverse engineering drill where you kind of know roughly your destination, and suddenly you can get the speed and the accuracy all wrapped in to one. All right, so let's finish off and have a look at again how this all works. So we're going to cock the wrists and practice uncocking them to that position. Cock them, uncock them. Practice staying behind the ball. Don't try to get forward. Don't try and get power going this way, because if you get going this way, just like the catapult theory I mentioned in one of the videos above, you don't get the catapult and the speed from the club. What you get is simply no real power and just basically a drag across. We need to get the cock in the wrist and then watch this, the catapult to there. Catapult the club. Catapult the club. Let's have a look one last time. Hinge, unhinge. And hey presto, we get some speed. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let's have a little summary. What have we done? So basically, you need to know your destination. You need to know where you're going to. You know, for more detailed information on that, look at the video in the top left-hand corner here. This will go into exactly how you get there. Know your destination. Then, cock your wrists, start to get some speed. Cock your wrists, uncock them. Cock them, uncock them. Yes, do you want this? We don't want this position, do we? That's a flick. We're not getting that, right? Because you know your destination here, that's where you're going to, you won't cock them, because if you uncock them too soon, what would happen? That's not the same destination, isn't it? So know your destination point first. Rotate to here, stretch, avoid reaching over, then uncock and release against a good, strong lead side. Yeah, we don't want to be collapsing, we don't want to be going through here. That's when you get the drag across and not the extra speed that you need to get with both your irons and your woods for that extra bit of power. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, and you know some of your friends that might need a bit of help with a bit of power, please share it. It really, really helps. And of course, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. But until next week, have a great golfing week.